Hey everybody, hey everybody, this is a Computer Geek 0101010001 here. And well, we got some tech room updates. This isn't going to be a full-fledged tech room This isn't going to be a full-fledged tech room updates video, but it's definitely significant updates. This right here is the hard drive cage out of the file server. That's the file server. That's the old file server hard drive. I'm getting the flashing battery out of death. Yeah. So, after I upgraded the file server's hard drive, the bootloader no longer wants to stick around. And I'm going to be installing Linux on the file server. So, what I'm going to be doing... So, I don't want to restore disk image back to the file server because it's going to take about 10 hours. And that's without checking the image. That's because this thing does not have any USB 3 ports on it at all. So anyways, what I'm having to do is I'm having to pull the 4 terabyte drive out of the file server and stick it in this spare low budget gaming rig. Then I'm going to be connected up my 4 terabyte external over there to one of those 2 USB 3 ports, and then I'm going to end up copying over a terabyte of disk images off of this drive, and then we'll proceed from there. So yeah, I'm probably just going to rattle my head till the camera battery goes dead. This WD blue you're seeing right here, that's the main drive in this machine. It's 1 terabyte, I think. This drive down here with the black SATA cable hanging out next to it, that's the 4 terabyte file server drive. What's going on is I do updates and Grub doesn't stick around. It drops me in a Grub rescue or just doesn't boot at all. And the original drive, the 640 gig here, had the MBR partitioning style on it. Now, because it's the 4 terabyte drive, after I restored the original disk image back to this thing, I had to convert it to GPT and then expand it to fill the whole drive. And I think the MBR to GPT conversion is what's done it in. Anyways, I'm gonna be putting Ubuntu Server 1804.3 LTS on here. Yeah, gonna be a clean install. Probably gonna do a DBAN on it and fill it with zeros, because this is just gonna be an internal redeployment more or less. Either way, I'll get back to y'all whenever I have this thing up and running. Hey everybody, we're back. I have gotten that spare gaming rig back together. Of course, this down here is all messed up because I had to disconnect the APC UPSD server, so I get the file server out due to the way the cables due to the way the cables are all set up. Got the door on. You can probably see a line pulsing up and down the screen. That's not actually happening on the monitor. That's just an artifact of the sync rate on the camera and the monitor being slightly different. Let me see. Display. Yep, I'm running it at 65 hertz compared to 60. So if I change this to 60, the geometry is going to be all whack first, which it is, but at least it picks up correctly. Really 2015 inch. It's horrible on anything white. That's why I chose 65. Choose 65 and a half. Just for sheer balls. And pulsing is a bit faster. Let's go to 65.0. How do we go from computers to refresh rates on a 20-year-old monitor? There's our line voltage, and now the line voltage. Poor network connection. Listening will resume when it's... Oh, shut up. Give it away, George Strait. Oh, about 2,000. Anyways, Acer V206HQL. Connected up over DVI to an HDI, a Radeon HD 5850 with a gig of VRAM. Monitor on, PS2 mouse, PS2 keyboard. Power. Drive's coming up to speed. Just gonna try to boot off the other drive. Looks like we're booting off the other. Focus. Okay, let's give it something to focus on, since LCDs are not exactly known for good focusing on cameras. So let's cut the lamp out. Start dabble dabbling. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get my mini tripod. Okay, I got the camera set up on a little jiggly wiggly tripod. Some. That's a. Oh, okay. So I'm about to unlock the drive. Because I use this machine. I use this machine as a test. Use this machine as a test bed for encryption. That didn't sound good. What was that mess? Yeah, the plugs for the singer up here at this power bar, so if I need to, I can kill the system. So I don't know what that noise was about. I know 1 second my screwdriver falls and barely touches the computer. Next second, so yeah. There's my external drive. There's the Fileserver drive. So I'm about to unlock my external. Let's see. I know. Alrighty. This is a 3.9 terabytes free, 3.9 terabyte total capacity. Used a terabyte, 2.7 free. Random lost and found folder. Find the drive and there we go. That's showing up properly. Yep, so it's my mouth. Alrighty. And yep, there's a Fileserver drive, and here you can see a variety of packages that I manually copied on. And I was trying to jack the bootloader. Let's go home, Computer Geek. There's nothing in Sony Machine Media. There's a number of things I do want to copy off of here. I'm going to copy off my network config. I also want to copy off my ABC BSD config. Open this with a mouse pad. Let's see. Port 15 UPS type net device, and I gave it the IP address and the port of the ABC BSD server. Full-time file, lock file, script dir, power fail dir, no login dir. On battery delay. this is one of the things that I'll be off. Let's see. On. Also, cron job here. I want to copy out. Samba. Now that ain't it. There's something in the cron tab that I wanted to copy out. There we go. Nope. Yep. D. There's a cron job that I want to copy out, but I can't find it. Either way, I'll find it. Just modified. 2017. There's my Samba config. Post directory mode 2775. Modified. November 18th, 2019. That doesn't seem right, but okay. DHCP, that's empty. GDB commands, BT, quit. Nothing. I just want to copy my solid conf out. Network interfaces. Face ID over there. No, there's CH root on this drive and copy off the cron tab. Crypt tab. etc cron.d. There we go. Wait a minute. You know what? I'm gonna CH root onto this drive. Cannot create dev null. I have to chmod it. You know what? I'm not about to do that on a terabyte of stuff. Forget it. I'll recreate the cron tab myself, not let you know in the first place. I want to copy out my HCPSD config. out. A network config, APC UPSD config, Samba config. Not exactly sure what else are in the disk images. Do I have anything in root? AA, so I'm just going to output for stuff. There it is. Geek. Packet 1. Okay, that's probably just out by TCP dump. 8, 6. Count out. Trying to spawn root and all of this. Access everything. Yeah, this is just the output of TCP dump, monitoring the interface. Test was this. Nothing. Don't care about it. Nothing here. Don't care about it. One bind D created its cores directory here. B 122618. 368 2018. A map 31618. Packet. Couple TCP dump output. Sambalog.txt. 31618. 120319 was the last time this machine was up. So everything in Samba is what I care about. So I'm about to spawn another terminal. Now we're chmodding the entire Samba share directory on the file server drive to 777 so I can freely move it. Okay, this is right in this window. I need to configure the panel settings real quick. No, that's not a music file. That's actually the disk image itself. So properties, 983, 84, 85, 990. Yeah, there's about a terabyte of stuff on it on here. A terabyte, 100,000 items. Oh, that's probably from probably Mindtest mod packs that I pushed across this, and theme packs and whatnot. And this entire Samba share folder. I don't know if I want to do a copy paste in Nautilus or if I just want to rsync the thing across. I don't know. If I do rsync it, I'll just specify -AEAX. That's what I would do. dash dry dash run or dash in. There we go. Now we are copying a bunch of stuff over to my 4 terabyte external. Oh, that looks fun. So yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll need to figure out what option tells me the remaining time. Dash progress. Send me incremental file list, and there we go. Now I have full verbosity or verbosity. So now we're moving all my boot disks and stuff over. And once this finishes, I'll be moving the drive back into the file server, and then I'll probably hit it with a fill the disk with zeros dband wipe, or I'll just format the thing in a OS setup. And then I'll be following Ubuntu Server 18.04.3 LTS onto the file server. And 3 hours. Wait, never mind. And we'll be getting around I'd say between 60 and 120 megabytes a second right over the USB 3 ports on this particular machine. And I'm pretty sure the bottleneck here is the USB interface. 150. I know the read speed from this drive is astronomical, like 230 something average. I have a screenshot of the speed test results on this drive on my main computer to my MSI MS-7850 controller. Anyways, we'll be back whenever this finishes. Hey, so it looks like the copy's finished. Let's unlock the machine. Yep. Okay. Alright. We copied 1.05 terabytes of data at an average rate of about 91 megabytes a second. Total size moved is about 1.057 terabytes. So we're finally done. Look, I have stuff in the quick shift folder. So I'm just gonna exit process. What have I done? Okay, now I think I have a window buried somewhere. Okay, I don't. So kill that terminal. Yeah, blur that in post-proc. Alrighty. 2004 gaming rig, APC PSD server, 9/27/18 out of service, 12/1/19. Man's laptop, 3/25/18. Dell Dimension E310, 513. Gallon's Welling B130 on 513. Firewall server from 11/24. Gavin Gaming Rig 11/29. MacBook Pro from 10/20/2017. Main laptop 12/1. Main office computer 11/29. Tech Network Interposer 11/30. Toshiba Tecra A2 5/13. Work laptop 11/29. Let's see. This must be the root. It is. Let me see. Checking Fileserver. Home, Computer Geek, so share, this images, looks about right. Just backup Fileserver. .6 terabytes free on the 4 terabyte external. 1.1 terabytes. Seven, 1 gig, 2 gig. Yep. 1.1 terabytes. So that's all good and up to date and everything. I didn't mean to click that. Yeah. Let's close that. And here's part of a theme of something. I have no idea where that came from. Probably an icon pack I downloaded ages ago. Yeah. Make sure to double verify. 20 gig. 1.1 terabyte. Yep. So it's all good and everything. 4 terabyte encrypted. Mount Tech file server. Oh look, we can inject file system root. Oh goody! How about that? No, we're not doing that. And I made a little bit of a configuration change. Put this panel down here. Configured some stuff on this panel up here. Changed the theme up a little bit. I'll really be changing the theme up soon before I fully power this machine off. I'll probably be changing it up before the next disk image cycle comes around, and I don't see that happening for probably another week. Who knows? I may execute a disk image cycle as soon as the file server gets back into a usable state. I will be shutting this machine down. Of course, you can hear the computer running still, but the monitor's blank. I have no idea why it is doing this. And it'll just sit here with no video going. I'm just turning on the monitor. It'll just sit here with no video going to the thing. See, no signal, but still on. What I have to do, I have to mash reset. Ow. and then cut it off. I said, and then cut it off, and watch it come back on. This thing's kind of weird. I started recently doing this, I don't know why. But anyways, next time, we'll be coming back soon, and next time the camera's rolling, that was the mini fridge. Next time the camera's rolling, I'm switching on lights. Next time the camera's rolling, you'll be seeing me pulling that drive out of the spare gaming rig and putting it back in the Fileserver, back where it originally went. Just moving stuff around, setting up for that. I'll be back. Okay, so this is that spare gaming rig I was talking about, and hopefully I'm not completely in the way. So, yeah, so far, okay, the Mock just locked, main office computer, Mock for short, spelled M-O-C. So far, I have removed the hard drive from the Fileserver, installed it in here, copied off all of the important things, and now we're about to remove the hard drive from here and reinstall it back where its home is, in the Fileserver. So the first thing I need to do is first situate the camera, but besides that, is we'll be disconnecting both of these hard drives, but we're only removing the bottom one. The top one is the one that belongs in this machine. The bottom one is the one that is just visiting this machine. Okay. So I need to get my Torx T15 driver bit. I need to undo these 4 screws because these are the 4 screws that HP used to secure the original 640 gig drive into what's now the Fileserver. I'm tilting the case and all this stuff just for you viewers. And if you do see rust on this machine, yes, I do fully acknowledge that this case is rusting. That's because a certain white dog, named after a friendly ghost, decided to pee on this thing several months back, and then it is slowly but surely rusting out the case. So it's going to be a bit of a maneuvering manipulation process, but this drive will be coming out now. No, I do not want to amputate anything related to the CPU. So there we go. So now I can take my power before data except for PATA. Just saying I came up with. On SATA, with SATA, you generally want to connect up your power cabling before your data cabling. With PATA, however, parallel ATA, it's generally the exact opposite. You want to connect your data cabling, your 40 or 80 pin IDE, cable before you connect your power cabling. You might be able to hear Pandora playing in the background. Hopefully I don't get copied. Hopefully I don't get striked by the YouTube copyright Nazis. So it kind of suck if that happened. So I know in the last clip there was no music at all, and in the clip before that, music was kind of on the loud side. I'd be careful how much torque I put on these thumb screws, because so far I have cracked the plastic off 2 thumb screws, and instead of them being regular, ordinary looking thumb screws, they now look like this. Focus. There's no plastic on them. Sometimes it takes a little encouraging to get this camera to focus. Okay, 1 screw. And these screws are good where they're going, even though they might be long, but they're good where they're going because they're not going to be protruding into the chassis, into the actual motherboard area and whatnot of the case. So, is this thing done? Well, dealt with. And pretty soon, and I know I'm going to have to repeat this process again. I know I'm going to have to repeat this process again, most likely, because after I get Linux installed on the file server and my network shares configured and whatnot, I'm going to need to go back and copy all this stuff back on the file server. Either that, or I can take my external and hook it up to my main laptop, which has USB 3 ports and a gigabit Ethernet controller, and just copy the stuff over the network, which would make the most sense. So I'm going to do that anyways, and we won't have to repeat this process again. Here I am sitting senselessly rambling to a video camera, and probably about 8,000 particles of dust. So anyways, I'll be putting this machine back in its little home, its little cubby area, and next time the video camera's rolling, we'll be putting the file server back together. And we're back with the file server up on the table, and all summer long by, I forget what the name of the group is. But anyways, here's the file server. Gonna give you a quick internal overview of it. This is the gigabit Ethernet controller card in here, which supersedes the onboard controller on this motherboard, which advertises a gigabit connection, but in reality it falls flat on its face whenever you try to bring it up to a gigabit connection. So that's why I got this card. So yeah, hard drive goes right here, and that's a hard drive cage. So just scoot that to the back, and we'll be looking at a white table for a few moments until I place the hard drive cage into place. There, now we're not staring at a white table. So, and this is the back of the drive cage, this is the front. So the hard drive needs to go like this. And we'll be getting our T15 Torx driver. This is Jacome 50 or 50 something in one tool set or something. Here it goes. Jacome JM-8153 series. If you're curious what the product in question is. This thing has proved to be insanely useful. Especially with these HP machines. So that way I don't have to borrow Dad's T10 or T15 to service these. They've also proven to be insanely helpful in servicing MacBooks. At least my particular MacBook, which has been out of service for over 2.5 years because the charging circuit died. Well, it was originally a battery that committed suicide, but the charging circuit died and it won't charge. So yeah, that's real fun. So yeah, hard drive's been placed back in its drive cage. Fileserver slid over. Pan this up. That ain't up. There we go. That's the drive cage area. I'm going to go ahead and connect the power cable now. Power and data now. So that way I don't have to mess with it after it's already in and has become a major pain in the rear to get to. So that's installed. I don't know where the screws went that hold the drive cage in, so I just let that this locking tab buried in there hold it in. I'll give you a close up of that as soon as I can get the camera off the tripod. Oh boy. Here's the screws that hold the drive cage in. There's a locking tab down there that you have to press with the drive cage out. Otherwise, this thing is very thoroughly stuck in place. So, what's that say? It's worked by the group. Now this thing has a Core 2 quad. It originally had Windows 7 on it, and in the hard drive, and it died. Well, not exactly. Actually, this thing got pushed. This thing got shoved to Windows 10, maybe. My grandma decided she no longer wanted this machine and subsequently replaced it. And I got it. Used to be in the used to be in the front living room, and the main office computer. The hard drive and it died. It was a Western Digital green drive. Go figure. I really like Western Digital's products, but the green series is not one I've really been fond of. The blue series is excellent for general use, because I mean, this drive was made August 24th, 2009, and is still going strong to this very day. More than 10 years later, this drive is still going strong. I have a pair of 2 terabyte WD Blacks 2003 FZEX drives that have been going. September. That have been going 3 years and 9 months strong. And those things have run pretty much 24/7. I mean, those things have run pretty much 24/7 for about the last 3 years. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the video camera and get this machine put back in its place and get the APC-PSD server put back in its place. And I think tomorrow, tonight, I'll just be, I'll probably just be getting things ready. Putting Linux on the flash drive, making sure my backup drive, well, I've already verified that the backup drive has everything I need on it. I did that before I shut the spare gaming rig down, so I'll probably just be writing the Ubuntu 18.04.3 LTS AMD 64 image to my flash drive, and then this machine and the APC-PSD server will be going back into their places, and things will just stay offline until tomorrow morning. Oh, just one more thing before I completely sign off for the night. Plain gummit. Screensaver. Kill the X screensaver daemon. Lock system. There we go. It must be about 60 hertz. So that's the file. So we're on port 2 on a KVM switch, and that's the file server. We're going to mash the escape key over and over and over and over and over and over and over until we actually get somewhere. If you heard a ticking, that was a file server. That was the piezoelectric squeaker can complaining that the keyboard buffer was full. So I have this D-band disc here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in the optical drive. See, D-band optical drive. Put the D-band disc into the optical drive. Boot. We're going to select boot from the optical drive. Focus lock achieved. Warning: this software irrecoverably destroys data. Let's start D-band in interactive mode. Of course, it's blanking now. The challenges of filming a CRT. Waiting for USB devices to register. ... Okay, any day now, let's focus. 4 unrecognized devices. We do want to wipe the 4 terabyte Western Digital in here. Method. We're just going to choose the quick erase. There we go. Drive wipe in progress. Round 1 of 1, pass 0 of 0. Blanking at 300 megabytes a second. We're going to be done with this in about 7.5 hours. Or maybe a bit longer than that. If I come to this in the morning and this is still wiping, I'm just gonna mash the power button on the file server and kill it. So I mean, this is just internal redeployment purposes. Either way, we don't need the optical drive anymore, so I want my D-band disc back. So yeah, this is going to go back in here. This is going to go back in my little lockbox full of sensitive utilities and whatnot. And that will officially be it for the night. This is Saturday, December 7th, 2019. Looks like it is a beautiful day outside. And beautiful day outside. You can see the power lines. There's our power transformer. There's a high voltage disconnect. Probably an arc gap or something. Dead end insulator. And then there's where the neutral ties on. And the transformer neutral and the house neutral are all bonded together, probably to prevent weird voltage abnormalities from happening. But anyways, here's a file server. As you can tell by the hard drive indicator, we're still wiping. Not to mention the fact that D-Band says we're still wiping, and it estimates another about 2 hours to go. I'm not waiting another 2 hours. Keep in mind, this is just to fill the thing with zeros. So here's what I'm going to do. Can we rush about Alt? Need about 80 hands for this. See, Alt print screen. Don't want to drop the camera. Alt print screen B. Nope. And so I somehow zoomed it in. Anyways, here's what we're gonna do. There. Monitor self-test. Your monitor is working correctly. Check computer power and monitor cable. Now, if we go to boot the computer up again. If you heard a whine that was increasing in pitch, that was the hard drive. That was that 4 terabyte hard drive. And there's the gigabit controller coming up. Nope. Nothing. Nada. Yep. Couldn't find anything on the hard drive, so it went for so it tried to PXE boot over the network, and since I don't have a properly configured PXE boot server, that flopped on its face real fast. And then it said reboot and select proper boot device, or just gonna try for, yep. So yeah, that drive's wiped. So what do we do now? Well, we're about to go to my, I'm going to take this little 16 gig thumb drive, and we're going to head out to my main computer first, after changing the KVM switch back over to its proper input and unlocking my main office computer. Yep, and Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash is still up here, and go away software up there. I don't care. I'm just gonna lock this back, cut the monitor off. I take the 16 gig thumb drive, and then I'm gonna go over to my main computer. We'll be back. Okay, everybody, we're here at my main computer. So what we need to do now is we need to put Ubuntu Server 1804.3 LTS on my flash drive. So let me drill through my 8 billion utilities here. Enter my password. Clonezilla comes up. DevSDK1. I want to be sure. Alrighty, DevSDK 14.9 gigabytes. So we should be good. I'm gonna go pre-downloaded. I am gonna go into my downloads folder, find the Ubuntu server image, 1804.3 server, AMD64.ISO, open, and hit OK. Wait. That's not what I wanted. Actually, what I... blah, 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 blah. No. I'm getting some odd interference in my speakers. So here's what I'm going to do, actually. I actually need to use Etcher because Clonezilla running an ISO to a flash drive does not play nice. And Etcher running a zip file to a flash drive also doesn't play nice. So I'm going to select an image. Where's my downloads folder? There it is. And I'm going to find, actually, let me see, Ubuntu 1804.3 server. And I'm going to select drive, Cruiser Glide, 16 gigabytes, and flash. Okay, okay, now that I'm not clipping the microphone, that was rather interesting. But anyways, got the image written in flash drive. Note to self, don't play around with settings and stuff whenever you're actually recording. So, and that's what got me. And so anyways, recording, settings. So anyways, so that finished. See, Ubuntu Server 1804.3 LTS AMD64. So, forget that. There's my 88,000 bookmarks and stuff. See, they turn on encrypted drives. Anyways, you can clearly see Ubuntu Server 1804.3 AMD64 has been written to this flash drive. So I'm going to eject the flash drive, unplug the flash drive, and we'll be heading back to the tech room. So anyways, we're back. As you saw in the last couple clips, Ubuntu Server is now on this flash drive. I'll plug it into the file server. PC1. Turn the monitor on. Or the power button. It's coming up. PC2. Power. Turn on, find picture mode. Oh, you can see my face. Like, oh, you can see my face. Hi. 01 USB mass storage device is found and configured. That'd be the flash drive that I just plugged in. And there we go. So the camera is going to go back on the tripod. And sorry if I gave anybody an episode of vertigo. I'm going to do, so I'm going to stop the camcorder and I'm going to get this set up. Okay, everybody. Change of recording equipment if you cannot tell. This is going to be in 4x3. This is going to be in 4x3. Probably gonna have this portion at 720p 60 because this is coming from a mini DV camcorder running directly off of its power adapter. The Sony HDR-CX220 kept blanking the monitor out, and then one of the camcorders I have, I don't know what the model is. So something Vario. No, I don't think it's an RCA. I don't know. I'll probably remember as soon as I shut the camera off. Anyways, it also wanted to, that Vario thing, it wanted an SD card, and frankly I wasn't about to go rip the SD card out of my camera and risk it on an unknown camcorder. I also have a Panasonic Palmcorder with a 40GB hard drive internal, and it did not like this monitor at all. So I switched over to this Samsung, whatever the heck this thing is, Samsung Digital Cam, whatever the heck this thing is. Let me see. I don't know what the model is. I'll have to take it off the tripod, and I'm not going to do that right now. Anyways, the challenge of recording a CRT monitor. The shutter speed on this thing is set to 60. So it could be recording to the tape at 60 FPS. It could be recording to the tape at 30. Hopefully, this thing is recording. Hopefully, I'll be able to deinterlace it to 60. Anyways, let's get on with it. I see the exposure is exposure's kind of whack. Probably cold curtains. There we go. F6, other options, expert mode. Let's install Ubuntu Server. We seem to be booting now. There we go. Oh, God, it's way. That ain't blue, people. That is not blue. Stand by. Well, the colors are going to look off, so yeah, we're running this in expert mode. United States. A lot of mashing enter here. Alrighty, that's good. Load a pre-config file, load the installer components. You might notice it looks a bit dark up here. I don't know if that's the camera or if that's the tube. I'm about to move the camera. Use the tilt. Zoom control locked in tight. Lock the height, tilt and pan controls. Take virtual driver disks from hardware manufacturer. Must detect network hardware. configure the network. I'm not connected to a VLAN trunk port, and I do want to auto-config. Alrighty, up at gigabit speed on the NIC. Network auto-configuration has succeeded. Host name. Fileserver, no domain name. Set up users and passwords. I'm going to temporarily block the lens. Continue. No, do not encrypt my home directory. Yes, let's configure the clock. NTP. This line you see going down the screen isn't actually happening on screen. It's an artifact of the camera. Yes, that is correct. Detect disks. Detected a disk. Partition the disks it just detected. I want to do manual partitioning. Create new empty partition table on this device. GPT. 4 terabytes of free space. Let's create a new partition. 10 gigabytes beginning. Mount point boot. Bootable flag. Done setting it up. 4 terabytes of free space. I want to create a new partition. Max. Let's use this as a physical volume for encryption. Done. I hit delete the partition. There we go. 859.6 kilobytes of free space. Let's configure encrypted volumes. Write the changes to disk. Activate. No Lux devices found. Create encrypted volumes. Someone's shooting a gun outside again. It automatically created a 4 terabyte ext4 space. Yes. Mount point root. Done setting up. I can configure the logical volume manager itself. Following partitions are going to be... No, I don't want to mess with the LVM. See, it's going to be root. encrypt. Boot. Finish partitioning and right. I'll change the disk. You have not selected any partitions for use as swap space. No, I do not want to return to the partitioning menu. Yes, I want to write these changes to disk. Partitions formatting. Please enter the absolute maximum size of the swap file in megabytes. Please enter the maximum percentage of free space on root file system. I thought I just answered that. I got that same kerfuffle whenever I was messing around with this in a VM on my main computer. I'd like to install the system, please. System will be installed as a regular system if you choose. Normal, please. Copying data to disk. Now, if this were an optical drive, the thing would be going berserk. Storing language, running pre-seed, running a console setup, live-install-console-setup. The list shows the available kernel. Please choose any one of them to make the system bootable from the hard drive. We'll be going with the generic option, please. Generic. I do plan on adding a USB 3 controller card to the Fileserver, and I've never had any problems going with the generic kernel. And if anybody's curious, I'm using a brand new videotape. Yes, in 2019, I'm using a brand new videotape. I still have another couple brand new mini DV videotapes. I think I still have at least one or two brand new sealed Video 8 tapes. So yeah. And if anybody's curious, this is also the same exact camera I used to record part of the teardown of the old ARP Junior High, the old ARP Junior High School, built in the 70s. Configure the package manager. Use a network mirror, please. United States, no proxy, use restricted. Use a universe component, multiverse. Yes, I'm going to use backported. No, I don't want to use partner. I want to enable source repositories. And looks like we're pulling stuff over the network right now. Service is strongly recommended. Select and install software. Upgrading software. No automatic updates. I'll manage those myself. I'm using a Sony Fileserver, OpenSSH, maybe a mail server, LAMP, DNS. You know what? Let's just make this do all of the things. No, not really. Samba and OpenSSH. And we're copying a bunch of stuff out of the flash drive, and alright, now we're installing it. I wonder if brightness has anything to do with how a camera responds to a CRT monitor. I know the colors are for the most part wildly off. On the camera, On the camera, the colors are wildly off, but on the monitor itself, they're just about dead on. There's a little bit too much green in the picture, but I can adjust that by popping the back of the monitor off and adjusting the green screen control. Install the Grub bootloader on the hard disk. And here we see a blank screen. And here we see a mostly blank screen with a white line at the bottom. There we go. Installing the Grub 2 package, retrieving files. Installed Grub PC, AMD64. It seems that this new installation is the only operating system on this computer, so it should be safe to install the Grub bootloader, the master boot record of your first hard drive. Seem to be correct. Yes. Device for bootloader installation. MicroSDHC, thank you very much. It seems that this computer is configured to boot via EFI, which it's not. But maybe that configuration will not work from booting the hard drive. Some EFI firmware implementations do not meet the EFI specification, i.e. they are buggy and do not support proper configuration of boot options from system hard drives. Force Grub installation to the EFI removable media path, no. Primarily because of the fact that this computer is not I don't even think this computer has any mention of EFI anywhere in its system firmware. Finish the installation, setting users and passwords. Yes, the system clock is set to UTC. Running update init ramfs. Installation is complete, so it's time to boot into your new system. Make sure to remove the installation media, so that way you boot into the new system rather than unintentionally restarting the installation. Let's continue. Reminds me, a person was staying at this hotel that was right next to this IBM facility. And we rebooted. And this person connected up their file server or whatever to the network and started to boot, and went to boot it up, and oh boy, the camera's whacking out. There, well, there went to focus for 2 seconds, and IBM had something improperly configured on their end, and their file server started pulling down PXE images from IBM. Which is rather interesting. And we seem to be booting. No grub errors. Wanting me to unlock the disk. Recovering journal. Alrighty. Whenever this finishes up, I think we might actually switch back to the. I think we might try switching back to the Sony HDR-CX220. I'm gonna get my work laptop set up because I'm gonna need some stuff. Because I'm going to need its services, and we will begin configuring this file server. I imagine there's a multitude and a half worth of packages. I do like up here how it tells me the system load, the processes, root usage, memory usage, swap usage, IP address for all IP addresses on all configured network interface controllers, amount of users logged in, whatnot. So anyways, that's about 23 minutes of videotape burned. Not literally burned, but you know what I mean. So yeah. We might be back on this camcorder soon. We might be back on the Sony HDR CX220. It all depends on how it works out. Okay, everybody, we're back. On the Sony HDR-CX220, if you can't tell, I'm just about to boot up the work laptop. Dell Latitude E6520. So far, we have copied everything off the file server, wiped the drive, and installed Ubuntu Server 18.04.3 onto the file server. Now, normally, I'd probably start configuring the network interfaces and everything. I'm about to set some things to manual. Normally I'd probably go ahead and start configuring network interfaces and what have you, but if we do nano etc network interfaces, you would probably expect it to come out with a regular network interface configuration file like you've seen in pretty much every previous version of Ubuntu ever. Not so much. If up-down has been replaced by netplan on this system, see etc netplan for current configuration. To re-enable if up-down on this system, you can run sudo apt install if up-down. Ignore the unwritable message down here. That's because I didn't run this as sudo, and I don't have a root prompt hanging around. Yeah, I accidentally left a root prompt hanging around one time. Thankfully, nobody discovered it. And the only people that would have discovered it would have been my parents, and they don't. And well, they don't have a need to be messing around with terminals and whatnot. So. Help if I plugged in the laptop charger. So anyways, yeah. And the first thing I'm going to do is we are going to get rid of netplan immediately. Why? Because netplan just does not belong on a server. It uses YAML. It uses YAML configuration files, which in my opinion is insanely stupid because they're extremely critical about spacing, and you can't tell if a file has 1, 2, or 8,000 spaces. And you can't tell if a particular line has 1, 2, or 8,000 spaces. And why is Chrome locked up? So anyways, I found a guide on getting rid of netplan and replacing it with a much better alternative. Switch back to etc network interfaces. Go. Let's do an apt update. Check the camera focus yet again. Says it's at infinity. Not sure if you can read that or not. Go ahead and install if up down. It's going along just fine. Alrighty, configure your ETC network interfaces file. Let's get rid of this if up down junk. Now I know those are just comments, but they are going to be no longer valid in about 5 minutes, maybe that. And for now, I'm just gonna configure it to configure the main NIC on this thing with DHCP, because I'm gonna be overriding this file anyways. That's assuming this is EMP0S3. EMP2 has 0. Alright. Recording. Okay, we're back. A slight detour later about talking about USB 3 controller cards. Where was I? Oh, that's right. I was about to bring networking online. Keep switching W and O. Alright, this one's going to be a bit convoluted. Go back and change stop to disable, and then we're going to change disable to mask. And of course it masks them by creating symlinks from them to dev null, which I find hilarious. And then we're going to purge NetPlan. And we're going to purge NetPlan off this system permanently. Hasta la vista. mess with the DNS resolver. Alright. Can we ping the net? Can we ping out? Yes, we can. We do DNS reservations. And yes, we can. Install W3 of an H-top. And yep, we can get places. Alrighty. Now let's reboot the machine. We're logging in to the machine. Alrighty. Cool. Now we might probably... Now, I'm probably going to go dig out my external drive, and then, in that, I'm going to take the external drive, connect it up to the file server, and then we'll start overriding configs, and start putting things back how they were. Okay, we're back. I have my 4 terabyte external intended for backing up the file server. And, well, we're about to connect it to the file server. Alrighty. Alrighty. Unlock and mount the 4 terabyte external. MicroSDHC. Alrighty. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the interfaces file. I'm going to overwrite the network config. I'll probably have to reboot the system for that to take effect, or I can do an if up, if down cycle. Or maybe the network configuration will completely break because I haven't messed with the configuration file and changed it back to what it was supposed to be. Also, I want to overwrite the Samba config with my custom copy. Alrighty. Alrighty, that's up and running. Things appear where they're supposed to appear. Network. TechRoom-FS. Tech stuff. Registered user. Password immediately. Oh wait, that's right. And create a user. Standby. Alrighty, let's create a user. Alright. Just about what option it looks. Change into the full name. Alrighty. And then add the user to Samba's list of users. There we go. Try it again. About Windows share message file directory. Alrighty. Fix that real quick. Registered user. And we're in. We are in like Flynn. Set a couple things back to auto. Main auto exposure. focus. Alrighty, tech stuff on Tech Room FS, no contents. 4.2 gigabytes used, 3.9 terabytes free. And just to show proof that this really is what it is, I'm going to use my bookmark, connect as a registered user. CompGeek, forget password immediately, put my password in. There you can see there is a password. I'm going to hit connect and we're in. Properties, and oh look, there's properties. So yeah. Just a couple things back to manual. Right, it probably looks a bit better. So yeah, well, the next thing I want to do is I want to figure out what permissions I want to have. I also want to create a group called FSAdmin. Group links. Group add. User mod. I'm going to use user mod to add my Samba user to a new this group I just created called FSAdmin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type user mod, the program that I want to run. I'm going to do dash lowercase a capital G, which tells user mod that I want to add something to something. A for add, and then a capital G for group. So add to a group, and then the user, which is going to be the CompGeek. Okay, should be alright. Thought I just did this. Why is it spitting this out? Lock the user account. All you need. Oh, duh. Should probably tell it what group I want to add this thing to. Okay, group user. I don't mess with it. I don't mess with groups very often. I also want to have a cron job that manually set. I also want to have a cron job that sets the sticky bit. I think I want. This is 27 for 5. GID. This is neat. intrusive. Sticky bit, a restricted deletion flag or sticky bit is a single bit whose interpretation depends on the file type of directories. It prevents unprivileged users. Saying on the thing, this is called a restricted deletion flag for the directory, and it's commonly found on worldwide directories like temp. Okay, we're back. I got the directory permissions figured out. So, I decided to go create mask 1760 and force directory mode 1760. So what that does is the owner can read, write, and execute. The group can read and write, and then everybody else, you're out of luck. And no set UID or set GID bits set, and but the sticky bit is set. What the sticky bit does is it enforces a much stricter set of rules on the directory. Meaning if you're not the owner, you can't do anything. I mean, you cannot rename, you cannot delete. You're out of luck. That's for dang sure. And that's why whenever I rsynced everything over to the external last night, the first thing I did was I chmodded everything to 770. I can't remember if I did 770 or 777. I think I did 777. So that's a thing. So now I need to verify. So now, alrighty, I can still read the contents of stuffs. Alright. Alrighty. So this folder right here, the ZDGNSLKGM, that needs to have the proper directory permissions. I'll set that up right. 1760. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of here. I'm going to force everything to 1760. So mode of Samba share retained to 1760, and then everything in it, and then 1775 on the folder I just created to 1760, and then the first folder is 3760. That really needs to be 1760. Unset. Cool. So now I need to create a cron job which regularly updates everything, which regularly changes everything in this folder to be the desired, to have the desired directory permissions. Here just fine, going in just fine. So C, because I just created a folder. And it does not have the proper permissions. It does have the sticky bit set, but it doesn't have the proper permissions. So I need to create a cron job which every minute forces everything in here to 1760. And you see if a chmod R would do it. Chmod dash recursive 1760, and just give it a whole Samba share folder. And let's see, Samba share, blah. Yep. So on tab dash E, I'm just going to choose nano minute hour MON month of day of something, something of something, day of week. I know there's a cron tab checker or something online. Cron 10, no, I want cron tab. There we go, crontab.guru. Every minute, so that's good. $17.70 and 17.60. Thank you very much. Installing new cron tab. So it is 2:07:19. It's going to be a bit later now. Saturday, December 7th, 14:07:23, CST 2019. Not sure if you can read that or not. Might have to bump the exposure down. I don't want manual. You can see the lines coursing down the display. It's now 49. Alrighty. And I'm watching the hard drive indicator LED now. Looks like it did something. Yep, cron job ran exactly as scheduled. So we can delete all this stuff. Yes, I want to delete. And then if we suddenly do an LSL, ls space dash L, there's nothing there because there's nothing actually there. So what that means, so far what that means is we have Samba configured. We have the Samba share folder properly configured. What I want to do now is I want to add a user, a guest user, and well, I don't want to. I want to add a guest user, tcg-guest, exactly as it was before the Fileserver OS reinstallation. That means add user, I think -s is system. Yep. It used to be a system user. Oops. Okay, how do I get rid of a user? Remove user on Linux. User del. tool. And I can R-R the home directory that was erroneously created. I can there we go. Now I can set the Samba password of this user. Make it super simple. And there we go. Now I need to add this. Now I need to add this user to the FS admin thing. Group before user. And there we go. Log out. Hey everybody, this is the Computer Geek 010101001 here. This is an intermission in the video at just short of the 2-hour mark, if I remember correctly. There's about to be a large jump of several hours in the timeline because I had the camera rolling while I was doing troubleshooting in relation to something regarding the file server regarding permissions. What was happening is I was unable to get the guest account working properly initially, and what I eventually had to do is I had to set up an access control list on the folder that I was sharing out. So, yeah, there's going to be a very large jump in the timeline. Okay, I just did a little bit of cron tab editing. So I commented out the second line that sets up the access control list for the directory. And then I appended that access control list command to the end of this first line using double ampersand to signify that I want to run both of those simultaneously. So if we exit, log out of the file server, log in with the guest account, and we can get into it. Now I'm going to wait for the minute to change. And there we go. So we should have like minimal interruption. So now this should suddenly start working again. And we can get into it. We cannot create new folders because this user doesn't have that permission on the file server. And our options are cancel and cancel. So yeah, that's a thing. We cannot delete folders. There is an error deleting no U. Permission denied. Shift Enter. Oh. No. Why do I keep doing that? And our options are cancel, cancel, and cancel. Because cancel cancels the operation. Skip all skips it. Skips this operation, effectively canceling it. And then skip does the exact same thing. They all map to the same general point, aka cancel. They might as well have just put cancel, cancel, and cancel on the screen instead of cancel something that's not cancel but it does the same thing, and another something that's not cancel but it does exactly the same thing. So that's a thing. So yeah. I'm just going to start spamming the button, or, well, Nautilus just locked up. So that's a thing. Okay. I have no idea why Nautilus is starting to lock up on this machine. Who knows? Maybe a bit flip. And Chrome is doing it oddly enough as well, so I have no idea what's going on with that. But anyways, I'm gonna reboot the file server as soon as I get out of this. As soon as I get out of this guest account. And then I'm going to point the camera at the screen, and there it went. The CRT monitor to be exact. Let me adjust the focus since things have changed. 0.8 meters, hour and 25 minutes on the camera battery. 6 hours, 54 minutes on the card. It's going to want me to unlock the disk. Alrighty. Disk is unlocked. System is booting. I'm going to go into the file manager, aka Nautilus. Looks like the file server's finished booting up. Go in here, go in here, go in here, go in here, try to create a new subdirectory. We can't log out. Log in under my primary, not under the administration account. Get password immediately. Log in. Just doing memes and stuff as folder names, and of course we can go and completely delete the entire directory tree off the disk. So that's a thing. So anyways, I am going to unmount the file server. We can close all of it, and then we're going to close 10 tabs. And we are going to shut this machine down. And there goes the focus. There we go. Now, what we need to do. Now, what I need to do is I need to drag out my primary laptop, which happens to have USB 3 ports. And then I need to connect up my 4 terabyte external to it. And after that, I need to hook up my laptop and everything, and then we can start moving stuff, and then I can start moving stuff back over to the file server. Either that or can either that or I can move the file server drive and rsync it. I don't know. So there's a bunch of teeny tiny little files. And I know Nautilus doesn't exactly handle that very good. Yeah, Nautilus, whenever it gets into a bunch of tiny files, it'll give me something stupid like 8 billion out. Like, I was backing up the stuff on my main computer once, and one time it said like 21 days remaining. I'm like, are you kidding me? Needless to say, that's about the point when I started using rsync to back up on my main computer, and I think that was a very wise decision. So anyway, we'll be back when my main laptop's set up. About some dire straits to kick off this clip. Anyways, I got my main laptop set up. I think the utility company just changed power taps. So what I'm gonna do, zoom in on that as much as possible. I already got my external plugged up and the LAN cable and all that great stuff. Of course, the focus is probably going to go whack. There's our password prompt. I ejected the optical drive because for some reason, if I don't eject the optical drive, it thinks there's a disk in it and waits 30 seconds, between 30 seconds and a minute to time out. And knock the exposure down. Right. And a focus manual. Crank it. Half a meter. Alrighty. Now let's boot Ubuntu. You can close the optical drive now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount the file server share to a mount point on my laptop, and then I'm gonna mount. Wait. Yeah, I'm gonna unlock my external. I'm gonna mount the file server shared to some arbitrary directory on my laptop recording, and then I'm gonna use rsync to move the stuff over. First, make sure I have crypt setup installed, which I don't, but that's easy. A whole bunch of headers and stuff that are no longer necessary. So, crank the display brightness up. And there's a lamp in the background. I'm about to go turn off a lamp in the background. So, stand by. back left lamp in the tech room. Yeah, so that's there. First, let me make sure this thing can actually detect the share. 347 gigabyte volume, that'd be the Windows partition. 4 terabyte encrypted is the external computer, is the 600 some odd gig volume. Password immediately. And run like Flynn. See, I can get to the share. So now, CIFS. Text stuff. Create directory. Just mount it to AAA. Install CIFS utils. Gonna grab a bunch of stuff. 2 megabytes over the network in 1 second. And there we go. We're now sending stuff over the network to the file server. Oh, it looks like we got a whole lot of chain group stuff it isn't happy with. Okay, we're back. Turns out the user I was trying to log in as did not have the appropriate permissions to access the share on the file server, and that was kind of falling flat on its face. So, okay, I need to exit this. I'm still computer geek. Get me out of here. Okay. Okay, I thought I had an htop command here somewhere. Huh. Odd. Alrighty. There we go. Let's try this again. Doesn't seem to be complaining now. Because what I did is I enabled SSH. I enabled root SSH login on the file server. Set a password for root on the file server. And then I added the account root to Samba. So that way I can log into the Samba share under the user root and subsequently have completely unrestricted access to everything on the file server. In this case, I just needed unrestricted access to the share. And we're pushing about 8, and we're probably, looks like we're pushing about 10 megabits over the network of the file server right now. It's a butt ton of real tiny files and whatnot. So this is probably, so I know, so this it might take 3 hours, it might take more, it might take less. But what if I put my hand on the external? It's definitely chunking along. So, yeah. So what was happening is rsync was trying to change the owner of everything to the owner of the appropriate directory on the file server, and since the account that I was using did not have permission to do that, it was kind of falling flat hard on its face. So now that I'm using an account that has the appropriate permissions, things work. So I'm probably gonna let this run, and while I'm at it, I'm probably gonna rip the footage. I'm probably gonna rip the footage off of this videotape, so that way I can deinterlace it and upscale it to 720p 60, and I'll probably I might not dump the camera card until I'm done with this, but anyways. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean this table up a little bit because it's kind of a mess. Right now we're getting up there in speed, averaging. Oh, we're hitting 100. We're peaking. We're seeing peaks of about 130 from time to time. If you happen to be watching the network meter carefully enough, that is if you can read it. I sure can't read it, but this is like a 2.5 inch display, so that's super bad. Oh, that's 10 meter. It's 0.9. That's 0.5. Yeah, I can't read school. I really can't read anything on this tiny display. I imagine this will look different whenever I move it to a computer with a real display. I wouldn't be surprised if I got copy striped for music. So, anyways, we'll get back to you. I'll get back to y'all when this is done. Alrighty, people, we're back. It's been all night. This thing current. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing ran a good chunk of the way into the night. Yeah, it was just one. The last time I checked on this, it was moving some, I think like a 400 or 500 gigabyte disk image, and that took over. And I think that took over an hour. Well, at least our thing would think it would take over an hour, so I just left it. So, yeah, before I switched on the camera, I went and double checked some things. So, what have we done? So, we're pretty much done with the file server at this point, at least in terms of fixing it. What has happened since last night? Well, I ripped the footage off of that videotape at 23 or 20, about 25 minutes worth of footage off of that videotape whenever I was installing Ubuntu Server on the file server. Figured out what I needed to do to deinterlace it and convert it to 720p 60. So, what? Also, this thing right here, that finished up. I also went and CH-owned the entire share directory back to the owner, the Comp Geek group FS admin. So, I don't know if I still need to keep the access control list or not. I could probably comment that portion out in the cron tab and clear the ACL and see if the guest count still works, but I don't want to do that because it works. If it works, don't touch it. Yeah, this thing received a full charge. It's still, sure, it still says charging 99% 9 minutes, but who cares? Oh, hello. And just back down there. Anyways, yeah, the root Nautilus is still open, and I discovered that it doesn't exactly like trying to mount a network share in a root Nautilus. Crank the exposure down. This location cannot be displayed. Sorry, cannot display all the contents of tech stuff. Operation not supported. Doesn't really have to go and kill this root Nautilus. Bookmark URI is, I don't know, pretty pictures, but anyways. This terminal. I need to
Yeah, I needed to redo this bookmark because before, whenever I clicked on it and tried to do something, it said could not, unable to mount Windows Share, couldn't find a specified file or directory or whatever the heck the error was called. Turns out it was tech stuff had been stuffed in there one too many times, so I just deleted. So I just went network, TechRoomFS, and recreated the bookmark. This was just working. Yeah, there's the error. Unhandled error message. Failed to mount Windows Share. No such file or directory. And apparently it put tech stuff in there twice, which is weird. So, but if we go to Network, TechRoomFS, Tech Stuff, if we hit Properties, and then we go Registered User, log in under the guest account. It worked. See, there's only one instance of tech stuff in there, so I don't know if that's a bug or what the heck that's about. But either way, slightly annoying. So yeah. And we can also, I can also log in under my regular account. No. And under this account I can create folders, I can delete folders, and if we go back under the tech stuff account we go back into the tech stuff share from the guest account, if we try to create a new folder, we cancel effectively. I can't delete anything. Skip. See? Can't delete it. So anyways, looks like the accounts and everything are set up properly and all that great stuff. The access control list is sticking around, which is good. And you know what, I'm just going to shut the thing off, because that will guarantee to unmount the thing. Exit. Net 0. Okay, what's the hold up? And if it doesn't work, I'm just going to RISUB out. Look, we're doing RISUB. Print screen on. There. Power off. There we go. So yeah. I think the last step here is going to be to take a disk image of the file server. And that means the file server will be down for about 19 hours. But I don't know if I want to take a disk image now and then do updates later, or if I want to do updates now and take disk image later. I think I'll just do updates now and take a disk image later. But anyways, you've probably seen me take disk images before in the past on this channel, and it's not really anything special. Only exception is I have to, whenever it comes time to mount the Conzilla sort image source directory what have you. I just do it. I go all the way down to the option that says I'll do it myself. Hit enter, which drops me to a root terminal. Then unlock and mount the external. I then unlock the encrypted partition on the external and mount partition containing it somewhere. And then once that's done, I type exit and then go on with the rest of the process. So, anyways, after who knows however long, I'd say about 36 hours, we have finally got the file server up and running. I'm setting everything back to auto. So, people, this is eComputerGeek 0101010001 here. Peace out, guys. Peace out. And if you ever need to set up a file server like I had to, let's hope you don't have to. Let's hope everything works on the first try. Didn't exactly do that for me, but guess what? I needed things to work, and I got things to work. Anyways, signing off. Oh boy. Now I have copy.